There is no time to die in the upcoming spy film, No Time to Die, which will be the 25th installment in the James Bond franchise. Produced by Eon Productions, Daniel Craig reprises his role as fictional British MI6 agent James Bond for the 5th time in the film. In a statement, Craig stated that this will be his final Bond picture. The synopsis: during the event of No Time to Die, Bond has retired from active duty and is enjoying a peaceful life in Jamaica, when his old acquaintance, Felix Leitner from the Central Intelligence Agency, shows up begging for assistance. His tranquility is short-lived. The mission to rescue an abducted scientist proves to be far more treacherous than Bond had anticipated, bringing him on the trail of a mysterious enemy armed with potentially lethal new technology advancements. In the trailer for No Time to Die, Craig discovers that he does not have enough time to live. The final trailer and release date for Craig's Bond farewell are finally here, more than 2 years after the first internet teaser for the Spectre sequel was released. The film has been delayed by COVID. Following a brief montage of Craig's 007 appearances in the previous 4 films, the film transitions to his most recent adventure, opening a garage door for what appears to be his armored car. He appears to be channeling some type of British Toretto swagger. This time around, the crew is back together, with Ben Whishaw creating gadgets, Leah Sado donning costumes, and Ralph Fiennes asking, "Where is 007?" directly into the camera. The main antagonist is Rami Malek, who plays Leistsefer Safin, a criminal who forces Bond to confer with Christoph Waltz while in prison, in a setup reminiscent of Hannibal and Clarice in Hannibal and Clarice. Then there's Lashana Lynch and Ana de Armas, who each get a few seconds to shine on the screen during the film. No Time to Die will be released in theaters in October. Some points from the trailer that we found interesting. It's from Daniel Craig's past films, including Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre, before transitioning into the final trailer for No Time to Die. The film revisits some of the most memorable Bond moments of the contemporary era, including the savage bathroom brawl, the Aston Martin crash, diving into a collapsing train, and meeting Madeline Swan, among others. Craig himself, as well as Judi Dench's M and Christoph Waltz Blofeld, who offers his phrase about kite dancing in a hurricane, are some of the most memorable quotes. As a result of this retrospective prelude, No Time to Die is officially the culminative of a 5-part series, and 007's next misadventure will have a feeling of legacy attached to it. We know that Bond travels to Santiago and meets with Paloma at the advice of Felix Leiter in No Time to Die, and that between ballrooms and bar fights, Bond and Nomi find time to engage in a firefight on the streets of Chile. Several new pictures from this action are included in the new trailer, including one in which Bond fires a shot into the air and disappears. This kind of irresponsibility could explain why Nomi threatens to shoot Bond in the knee, which is the only one that works if he interferes in her case. A black Aston Martin can be seen coming up to an airship for a brief minute in the film. This appears to be the DBS Superleggera that Nomi drives, and given that prior video has shown Safin riding an aircraft, Nomi's fast arrival could herald the beginning of an aerial chase scenario between the film's heroes and villains. The last trailer for No Time to Die contains a scenario that, while not particularly exciting, does hint to a more fantastical element to Safin's strategy. The picture shows Bond investigating a lab filled with television displays that display Safin's mask, and based on prior teaser footage, we know Nomi is also present in this environment. But the new photograph provides a far closer look at the human-sized tanks that Safin has lined up along the rear wall of the building. The shadows lurking inside the opaque liquid indicate some sort of human research, despite the fact that it's difficult to see through the liquid. Is this the method by which Safin created his bioweapon, or is he involved in something much more bizarre, such as cloning or genetic engineering as well? The involvement of Lashana Lynch's Nomi in the new trailer for No Time to Die is minimal, to say the least, but she does get a brief moment in the spotlight while driving her Superleggera and donning some futuristic-looking sunglasses. This takes place either just before or immediately after the scene in which Nomi drives past Bond with her window rolled down and casts a withering, condescending gaze over the rim of her spectacles, depending on when you see the movie. As a side note, No Time to Die's last trailer concludes with the folding plane crashing into the sea below, providing a closer look at Nomi's takeoff and what looks to be one of the film's most exciting set pieces yet. Given the vehicle's adaptability reality, it's possible that this is how MI6's dynamic duo infiltrates Safin's lair, by flying in from the air and then moving closer beneath the cover of the water. The last time we see Daniel Craig as James Bond. Daniel Craig is simply adamant about not dying on television screens. No Time to Die, Daniel Craig's final film as James Bond, has been postponed even again and will now be released on October 8th, 2021, due to a small global epidemic known as the coronavirus. COVID, it appears, is extremely adamant about Craig leaving the franchise. As part of Craig's goodbye to the series, his James Bond is enticed out of retirement by Felix Leiter, who is played by Jeffrey Wright, to assist in the search for an abducted scientist. Bond is pitted against Safin, a new Bond villain played by Rami Malek, who has his hands on some potentially lethal technology during the course of the mission. Also featured in the film are the vocal abilities of Billie Eilish, who performs the opening theme song No Time to Die, which was released in February 2020. On November 2nd, Eilish's song will start Craig's final outings as 007 in theaters, fingers crossed, all around the world, nearly 2 years after it was released. Despite the fact that there are no major revelations in the latest international trailer, so we'll have to come speculating about whether Rami Malek's villain Safin is really Dr. No in disguise, we do get to see some new footage from the film, including a scene with Moneypenny, Naomi Harris, Q, Ben Winshaw, and a new 00 agent, Nomi, Lashana Lynch, in M's office, and more of Bond's reunion, Ana de Armas. No Time to Die will be able to tell you more. Bond, who had been retired following the events of 2015 Spectre, is called back to active service when his buddy and CIA official Felix Leiter, Jeffrey Wright, asks for his assistance in the search for a missing scientist. Soon after, Bond comes face to face with the evil Safin, Rami Malek, who is plotting to assassinate millions of people and who looks to be tied in some manner to 007's beloved Madeline Swan, Leia Seydoux. Another trailer released at the same time as the international trailer includes new footage that differs from the previous one. It includes flashbacks to Bond's previous adventures, an additional look at Bond fighting thugs in his Aston Martin, and new information about Safin's plot, with Bond and Q uncovering how he plans to turn people into weapons. That we are done for today. What is your take on the end of Daniel Craig as James Bond?